Hi, and let's talk about The Last of Us. Because, recently I finished replaying The Last of Us Part 2 for the fourth time since 2020. So, for the fourth time in 5 years, because this is a damn great game, and every time I replay, I always find something new, and I never get bored. It's probably one of the best games ever released, in my opinion. But now, let's just not talk about the game, but about something that bothers me currently a bit more than the game. This thing being a TV adaptation, a HBO adaptation of the game, and honestly, even after completing the show almost 3 months ago, I knew that the show was not really great. But replaying the game actually gave me an even better perspective, and even further solidified my opinion, and showed me exactly what makes the second season so bad. And it's the thing about the second season, it's not just bad in comparison to the game, because obviously almost any TV show or a movie would feel underwhelming in comparison to the game, because the writing in the game is this good, and the game is already cinematic, and I believe nobody will expect the TV show to be better than the game. But even if we don't have a point of comparison, the TV show in itself is pretty bad, and let's just talk about it right now. Of course, there are obvious problems with the show, like for example acting, makeup, or just casting in general, because yes, the acting, we gotta admit, it's not really great. Especially acting from Bella Ramsey. I understand the writing is not strong, but still Bella could have had a more convincing performance, could have created a more convincing and gritty Ellie, which she failed to, which she completely failed to. Makeup, of course, which makes every character looks so clean, and I actually really dislike the show version of Dina, which a lot of people praise, but I just dislike her. She looks extremely tidy, she looks clean, she looks extremely beautiful, like she lives in modern day LA, not in a gritty post-apocalyptic world where you might not have access to clean water in weeks. But I want to focus not on technical things, but on writing, because with good writing, all those things could matter much less. Like for example, the characters looking too clean, if the writing is convincing now, which it isn't. And let's take the episode with Nora as an example. By the end of Seattle Day 2 in the game and in the show ends with Ellie finding one of Abby's friends, Nora, and killing her. It's exactly the same setting, the same characters in both show and the game, and Ellie tortures the information out of Nora exactly the same way in the show as she does in the game. But why does it affect us in such a fundamentally different way? Well, first of all, that's because in the show there is just no build up for that, and I think it's obvious even if you don't compare to the game. There's absolutely no build up. So what I mean by that, because the game is extremely violent. As Ellie, we kill tons of people, and every next person that we kill them in a more gruesome way than the previous one. Through across the 2 days, Seattle Day 1 and 2, we meet lots of people. We literally slaughter people. We're like John Wick, we kill people en masse using different, methods of killing. We kill dogs, which, everyone loves animals, especially dogs, but we kill dogs to survive. And when we come to that hospital, when we finally track down Nora, when we chase her down to that lower level of the hospital with spores, when we finally get the tube, it feels like this cathartic moment feels like the culmination, the apogee of everything that we did previous, all this killing, all the struggles that we went through across 2 days, it all pays off in this moment. The murder of Nora in such gruesome ways is the logical conclusion to whatever Ellie had been doing before, to her anger, her anguish, her thirst for revenge. And compare this to whatever we have in the show, because in the show we really have nothing. Like nothing. I don't really know if Ellie kills anyone in the show, because I really can't remember. There is not a single memorable death prior to Nora's death. There is just nothing. I don't remember. She probably doesn't even kill anybody. So there is no build up. The murder of Nora is not some logical conclusion. It's not a cathartic moment. It just comes out of nowhere. Across 5 episodes of the show, Ellie wasn't doing anything. She wasn't particularly angry or sad or anything like that. I mean, Dina was even angry and more motivated than her. And then she finds Nora and kills her in a gruesome way, and it's just not satisfactory. It's not a logical conclusion to whatever we've been seeing previously. So the killing of Nora is not satisfactory to viewers the same way as it is to the gamers, because it just literally comes out of nowhere, like at all. Comes out of nowhere. And the same can be said about killing of Owen and Mel, also no build up for that. And honestly, this just highlights the broader issue with the show. It's extremely sanitized. It's just afraid to show anything gruesome. It's afraid to show Ellie in a bad way. It's afraid to show us Ellie killing people, slaughtering people, killing dogs, because the show is afraid that we're gonna dislike Ellie. Where the game succeeds in showing us this Ellie's descent into complete darkness when she comes to Seattle and starts slaughtering people. This is the foundation for her character arc, the absolute foundation without which her character arc and the game in general would not work at all. And in the show they just removed that completely in order to make the show more safer, more, I don't know, appropriate to the general audience. I don't know. The show is extremely sanitized, extremely clean. Even the show removed anything even remotely controversial. I mean, anything that could be perceived as remotely controversial, like they made Dina Hispanic instead of Jewish, and as a result, they completely removed the scene in synagogue in Seattle Day 1. They removed Dina's connection to the Jewish faith, to Torah, all that stuff. They completely removed that because some execs at HBO probably realized that in current political climate, the show might receive a lot of hate for having a Jewish character. That's the reality, unfortunately. So the show just changed Dina from... this is what I think happened. I have no evidence. Maybe the HBO originally planned to replace a Jewish character with a Hispanic one. I don't know. But it looks like they made Dina not Jewish but Hispanic due to politics. The show is just very clean. Someone said that... the show is like a PG-13 version of the game, and this actually makes lots of sense. I actually agree. It is a sanitized, clean, safe for general audiences version of the game, which loses everything that made the game great. I mean, the horse gets blown up, Shimmer gets blown up in the game. Nothing like that happens in the show. They couldn't even blow up a horse in the show. They were too afraid of turning viewers away. So the battery of my camera died, and I had to stop recording, and I'm finishing the next morning, and there's this guy outside the window that keeps, drilling, keeps hammering stuff. I don't know what he's doing, destroying the wall or something. And yes, one more thing that I wanted to add about the casting, because it's frankly it's not really good. Like, like I don't think none of let me rephrase. I don't think none of the trio, Ellie, Dina, and Abby is casted well, because neither Isabella Merced nor Bella Ramsey are uh, really good enough to play the characters of Ellie and Dina. They're just not, in my opinion. And while Kathleen Denver is a great actress, I think, well, one of the key defining features of Abby's character is that she's really buff, she's really muscular. That's actually an important detail, because Abby has been determined to bring justice, to find and avenge Joel. And Joel is a very strong grown up, ruthless strong grown up man, and Abby essentially, she had been preparing herself for the encounter. She's been training extensively, thus she got so muscular by training extensively, by enlisting in the military, and learning fighting skills and stuff. It's very important for her character, for her character arc, but in the show she's just not. So another important piece of character development, of character arc, is just gone from the show, which is just another indicator that the writing is so much worse compared to the game. So much less attention to detail, to everything. And yeah, that's all I have to say right now. And I don't know, thanks for listening to this, and see you later.